Here's something that will go down in NBA legend. One YouTube channel has a basketball crystal ball which predicted this Luka trade 5 months ago.
And according to some prominent NBA insiders, Luka is next up. The Lakers are always big game hunting for stars.
This is a seismic shift in the league.
Do the Mavericks follow up a finals berth in 2024 with a disaster season in 2025?
Although they called this shocking trade, they couldn't guess how it would happen. And even now, NBA legends still haven't decided on how they feel about the Luka Doncic trade.
Well, obviously, Dallas didn't want to move forward with one of the greatest young players that we've seen today. I wish the business of basketball could have been handled a little better. You would think a guy that 5 years in the league, 5 first-team All-NBAs would at least get the conversation like, hey, things are not going well. This could possibly happen. But, you know, he felt the same way I felt. When it went down, I actually had to look and make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day.
While it wasn't April Fool's Day, the Mavs GM did a lot of fooling around because those conditioning excuses weren't even convincing for Shaq.
Question somebody's work ethic that's first-team All-NBA and averaging 28 points. I don't really understand that. I really don't. He's like they used to do the same thing to me. Oh, he comes into camp out of shape. Of course I did, because what's the criteria? You show me a guy that comes into camp in shape and has done more than me. You can't. I'll wait.
Reggie Miller said the same thing.
So there's other things behind the scenes that I'm sure we don't know about, but let's not make it about conditioning, because that's not, you don't get to where he's at being a first team All-NBA player 5 years in a row at the age of 25 by not being in shape.
But then there's always that what if question. People are always wondering, how much better would he be if he just got into perfect shape? But even that isn't convincing to Shaq.
They're saying to Luka, sure, you're averaging 28, 30. Could you average 35? Like they're thinking, and how would you answer that? Because you're the only one that understands it.
Okay, you do certain things to get results. He's averaging 28. Is he first team All-NBA or not?
Yep.
So he would have averaged 35. He still would have been first team NBA. So that makes your complaint null and void.
As for Chuck, he's hoping that LeBron can do for Doncic what Moses Malone did for him.
He totally reshaped my life and my entire career. You know, Greeny, I was having great success in college. You can be fat in high school. You can be fat in college and have success. You cannot be fat in the pros. You can have some success, but you can't be great. So I wasn't getting to play, and I was the number 5 pick in the draft. And I asked Moses one day, could I come see him? And I said, Moses, why am I not getting to play? He said, you're fat and you're lazy. And I was like, what? He says, Charles, you can play. You're a good player. You can never be a great player.
But the problem with this theory is that even last season, Luka was still recording career highs, especially on the defensive end where he gets called out for. So far this season, he's having a career-high defensive estimated plus-minus. So how can you say a player can never be great unless he got in shape? Doncic has already made first-team All-NBA 5 times at only 25. He has more than Steph Curry. How much greater is he supposed to get?
My thing is, I've been letting this sink in all weekend. I woke up this morning, I watched every single sports show talk about this, and I still haven't heard one great reason to trade Luka. Right. I heard practice, overweight. I heard injuries. He's not showing up. At the end of the day, it's the finished product on what you put on the court that matters.
Right. It's the performance on the court that matters. So when Paul Pierce got on Kevin Garnett's podcast, KG pointed out what the trade was really about.
And I'm also paying attention to the league, the owners. The owners seem like they are actually reestablishing some dominance. You hear what I'm saying to you? Like with the trade with Luka, that vibrated that everybody is expendable.
So while the players are all feeling expendable and fans are still shocked, people like Meta World Peace believe this was good for everyone.
You know, I think everybody won because Dallas is getting AD. They're getting a power forward who can do a lot, that can really help Clay. And you know, you can't come off AD or you double AD. Well, you got 2 spot-up shooters. Kyrie Irving is not only an on-ball player, he's an off-the-ball shooter. And we know Klay Thompson is an off-the-ball shooter. And AD is also an off-the-ball shooter. So that's a real
I don't think any Mavs fans believe any of that, especially when Anthony Davis's debut ended up with an injury. So they worried about arguably the best offensive player in the league getting injured, and so they traded him for an older player who's already injured. Great. Jalen Rose thinks Rob Pelinka might get a statue for this steal.
Rob Pelinka might get a statue now. Like, Jerry West got a statue as a player and as an exec. And I'm speaking hyperbole. To add Luka Doncic to your team, he's been All-NBA first team 5 times. He led the Mavs to the finals last year, BC. Like, his numbers are on steroids. I can't believe they gave up a 25-year-old player, and ultimately because you didn't want to pay him.
Mavs GM Nico Harrison still wants to convince everyone that this trade was for the best, and Kenny G thinks it's okay for him to feel that way.
The only way you could judge people being better is when actual play happens. So I wouldn't say that you're better or worse. You have to the game has to be played. But on paper, you know, he could feel that way. To me, there's only 2 or 3 questions that make sense. Is one, the behavior of individuals of that talent inside of the organization. Do they have leadership qualities that they felt that could lead them on? And thirdly, the Supermax. Were you willing to pay it? So if any of those answers were no, that's why this trade happened.
Although any of those reasons can explain why a team would trade a player, it doesn't explain why it had to be done in the shadows. Look, Luka was basically Dirk 2.0. That has to mean that they believed he has what it takes to win them championships. Dirk himself believed so much in him.
You think Dirk could have played with us and did the same thing he's doing now? That's how I judge this.
Yeah, honestly, I think he could. I mean, you've seen him up close. He is huge. He is a legit 6'8", 6'9", but the way he's built, he's just a physical guard. And, you know, any guard that's smaller than him, he just physically punishes them. Once he gets you on the shoulder, it's basically over. He just drives you down. So I think he would have adjusted to really any style.
But Vince Carter is more worried about what the Lakers do now that they've got their superstar.
I just think, well, first of all, I was shocked and then wowing. And my only thing is, okay, are the Lakers done? Which I don't think they're done. Because you have this dynamic duo, but I just think you need a big now. Got to go out and get a big to make the game easier for him. And I just feel like Luka's at his best when because he's a threat at all aspects. You put him in pick and roll, he's a lob threat. He's going to find guys, and obviously, you know, he can get buckets on his own. He doesn't even need a screen. But I think he is at his best when he had guys rolling to the basket.
Now, while everyone's hoping LeBron can help Luka with his conditioning, Vince thinks Luka can also help LeBron.
And Luka can actually make LeBron better because of his ability.
Right.
A LeBron getting the ball with a live dribble, like that's insane, and or vice versa. Because you can play, okay, your turn, my turn to lead the team.
This whole trade has focused on the Mavs GM and owners, Luka, AD, and LeBron. But Steven Jackson is just happy for his black brothers.
But I was happy for Kyrie and J Kidd and Nico, all our people. I was happy for them because I know what that means for Dallas as a basketball player. I'm not an emotional fan. I don't have a dog in this fight, so I understand what Anthony Davis going to Dallas does for Dallas and gives Dallas the confidence and the motivation to win right now. They have a great group of guys, a great group of young guys. Kyrie been playing his ass off without Luka. And to add AD with PJ Washington and being able to keep those big guys, I think that was a big move by Nico.
However, he has a message for any Lakers fan that thinks they now have what they need to win the league.
But on the flip side, the Lakers definitely made the best move that they can make and a great move also for their future. Bron only has so much time left, bro. AD and Bron, they snuck a championship in that bubble. They wasn't winning another one. And for all you Laker fans who think that LeBron and Luka finna win one this year, you done lost your damn mind too.
From a strictly NBA business perspective, the Lakers to the NBA Finals is big money. From global viewership to jersey sales, especially if the Finals was Mavs versus Lakers. And do the Lakers have the offense to pull that off? Hell yes. But away from all that speculation, was LeBron truly unaware about this trade?
I had a hard time believing, Stack, because we've been in this game a long time, that LeBron had no idea that this was going. I had a really hard time believing that, but I've just been hearing more and more And all, you don't believe it? He knew. He had to know, right? There ain't no way.
So what do you think? Did LeBron know about the deal or not? Are the Lakers title contenders now, or will they be after the trade deadline? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, check out our video on how this trade saved the NBA next.